Shalawam. I'm your brother Yahawah from the branch of GMS, South Carolina Midlands. And before we start off, all praise, honor, and glory belongs to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi Rawchaa HaQadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well. And Shalawam to you hopeful elect scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. To you I say Shalawam, Shabbat, Shalawam. All right, as we know, April the 8th, it is coming to a conclusion, the end. Of course, by the time you hear this video, the ending of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You can now eat bread with yeast in it. But, little recommendation, I would hold off, not necessarily stop eating it altogether, but just lay off the yeast products, and more so speaking to myself first and foremost, acquire, just with this whole Feast of Unleavened Bread, each and every year, you see how poor your diet is, or the Babylonian diet is here in America. And, I'm sure with you brothers across the pond as well, with these devils, with these heathens, these Gentiles over our food, tampering with our food, man, especially here in America, man. It's just, we got to be more mindful of what we eat, what we consume, what we put into our bodies, the temple, of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right, but this is, a Sabbath, all right, Wednesday evening to Thursday evening, all right. But getting into this lesson, don't be deceived. Don't take the M.O.T.B, the mark of the beast, which is the RFID micro C-hip, as we know by now. The elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone have been warning, so as the men that have entered into their labors, warning, all right, not to take this device. All right, warning you what truly our forefather John the Revelator saw in this devil Esau Edom implementing this mark of the beast technology throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, and it will be a test, it will be a trying of your faith in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi and in his word, all right, on not to take it, all right. And you're going to have to depend, all right, on Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. You're going to have to walk by faith and not by sight, all right, through the various temptations, all right, that we're going to be faced with, not being able to buy or sell, all right, which means to get food or water, to eat and drink, all right. You're going to have to trust in the Lord's word and his promise that, his servant is going to eat, his servant's going to drink, Isaiah 65:13, all right, and that you're going to rejoice in these, dire times, these dire straits that we're going to find ourselves in. But, Lord we'll get those scriptures, faith boosts the scriptures, exhorting scriptures that we're going to meditate on and, trust and believe in these times, all right, and that Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi going to make good on, that we, make it through these times until the soon come salvation of the elect. All right, so I got a couple videos, a couple articles I want to go over, and of course scriptures. And before I get into these videos, I'm gonna read this copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right, not making any monetary gains off playing these videos, all right, or reading these articles. All right, just bringing information, all right, and, of course, exhortation into the body of the hopeful elect. So, first video, or, article, but it contains a video that I want to play from the Washington Times. And it says, fears spread about businesses implanting micro C-hips in workers. So now, why would these employers want to put micro C-hips in their employees, which The relationship between an employer and an employee is the master and the slave. Okay, and it's because there's a transition happening. You being able to buy or sell with the USD, the US dollar, or the petrodollar, is eventually about to go out the window. And we can see the debt of America, Babylon the Great, is reaching an all-time high, which they cannot pay back. And we see that the purchasing power of the dollar is depreciating each and every day. And the whole crises with the Strait of Hormuz and this Iran and U.S. and Israel conflict that's going on, even though they're talking about ceasefire, and that ceasefire was broken by the small hatters. How gas prices is hiking every day and food prices is going up. That's because the purchasing power of the dollar is, becoming less and less each and every day. It's going to get worse. All right. The dollar is eventually going to collapse. All right. And what's going to be the transition or the new form of buying and selling is going to be the M.O.T.B. Hence why you will have an article such as this, as fears spreading about businesses implanting micro C-hips in workers. Our forefather John the Revelator saw these times that we're living in right now. All right, Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, and that he is Esau, the so-called white man, starting with the banking families. All right, the Rawchaas, the Rockefellers, the one percenters, all your rich Edomite, Amalekite rulers of this planet Earth today. And he calls of all, meaning everybody. Nobody's null and void. Edomites gonna have to take it. Elamites gonna have to take it. Hamites, Israelites, everybody. Both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So no matter what your status is in this planet Earth, whatever type of name you got for yourself, fame, celebrity, positions of power, okay, you're going to have to take the mark, no matter if you're locked up or out here so-called free. You're going to have to take the charagma, all right, which that word mark goes into the Greek word charagma, which is that physical implantation, all right, device technology of the RFID micro C-hip, okay? And without that technology or that device, which is a physical mark, and that no man might buy or sell, you won't be able to go and purchase out of the grocery store. You won't be able to pay your bills. You won't be able to function in society. You won't be able to get food to eat and drink. Without that mark, you're going to be completely cut off from this man's system, this beast system that he's setting up here in this planet Earth. Okay? And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, so it's going to be a get down, lay down type of scenario. All right, Esau wants you to conform to the system, all right, or be cut off. And in this time, it's going to be great persecution. His devil going to put some hopeful members of the elect to death who stand boldly in the names of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi and the testimony of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi for this word. Okay? And that's just what it's going to have to come to. You're going to have to be faithful until Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, unto death. Okay? And the Lord, is surely going to fight for us, man. All right, Revelation 20 and 4, and I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahawashi, and for the word of the Most High, Yahawah. So, get ready to be persecuted for this truth, man. All right, for you brothers, you prophets out there teaching this word, persecute, this what comes with the walk. All right, this is the trial of your faith. This devil coming to behead you, put you to death, okay, for holding this testimony, being a witness unto Yahawah, for prophesying. All right, and for you believers out there, man, who believe the report of the prophets, who believe in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, this devil's coming after us. Okay, and it's not that we should fear, okay, because Yahawah told us to fear none of those things which, thou shalt suffer. This is the rite of passage, okay, because we know that Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi ultimately got us. Whether we live or die, we still get delivered. All right, Revelation 2:10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. So the Lord letting you know you're going to be tested, and you're going to have to go through, the same hatred, the same persecution, ridicule that Yahawah had to go through. The servant is not greater than his master. All right, so the Lord let us, he didn't hold anything back, all right, as it pertains into serving Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi and holding fast to this word. You're going to suffer, all right? And that suffering comes with reward, being joint heirs with Yahawah, as we all know. It says, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. That's why you see all these concentration camps, detention centers being, sprouted up all around Babylon, the Great America. All right, you got ICE on patrol, can take you off the job, take you out of grocery stores, wherever you may be. No ID check. They don't have to give you no badge number or nothing. They could just come snatch you up. Or you could be at the plantation, and the enforcing of this beast system in the mark, get dragged straight off your job, man, and thrown into prison, man, because of what you believe and what you teach. Okay? And being opposed to this devil and his system and his mark. It says, and this devil going what? Label you a terrorist, enemy of the state. This is what we're involved in. Because we're for Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. We're not for Esau, all right, or the forwarding of his wicked system or his new world order. It says, behold the devil, and the devil is Diablos, being the so-called white man, the same one that causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive that charagma in their right hand or in their forehead. And you won't be able to buy or sell without it. This that devil that is talking about, the deceiver, the false accuser. All right? The so-called white man. It says, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, be tested, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So that shows you that you win. Even in death you win, or if you're alive and remain. And the Lord, this devil ain't going to get everybody, He ain't going to get all the elect. You're going to have elect members that the Lord deliver out of situations, even if they're in prison, cast into detention centers, or about to be beheaded by guillotine, by way of guillotine. The Lord going to deliver them out of them situations. All right, but there will be some martyrs. Okay? But, the Lord is still going to give you what? A crown of life. Okay? So, yeah. Revelation 20:4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahawah, and for the word of the Most High Yahawah, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. So this is what's going to be, what we're going to be faced with. This is what's going to be on the table. Okay? You presenting your body as a living sacrifice, as the scriptures say to do. Okay? Which is your reasonable service, Romans the 12th chapter, even unto the death. All right? But there's a reward. And they lived and reigned with the Mashiach 1,000 years. So even though you got hope of members of the elect that will be beheaded, be put to death, the scriptures at the end of this precept, it says, and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. And we know ultimately for eternity, but for that first 1,000 years, of course, getting the earth in order. All right. So let me get a quick point showing you that you still lived. All right, you still live, right? 1 Thessalonians 4:16. In GMS Great Millstone is the only Israelite camp that truly goes into the bitterness, even the bitterness of the scriptures, and not just the sweet. You know, it's all fine and dandy that we are Israelites and call all Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi for that. You know, yes, we're about to receive the promise of the kingdom, and we're about to rule in the planet Earth, rule over the heathens, be made immortals. That's beautiful. That's your pa. All right. But we have to go through the tribulation in order to get to that part, to get to that, you know, sweetness of the kingdom. You know, let me just get this as I was making that point that we got to go through the tribulation. Acts chapter 14 and verse 22, it says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So it's not going to be a easy road. You know, Yahawashi told us that we're going to have to enter into what? The straight gate, which is what? The position of difficulty, you know, which every Israelite is not going to take that path. All right, but the elect will. It says, St. Matthew 7:13, enter ye in at the straight gate. All right, and you get the definition of that word straight. It says, used in reference to a situation characterized by a specific degree of trouble or difficulty. Okay, and in that trouble and difficulty, you're gonna have faith in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi to pull you through. Okay, trust and believe in His word that He promised and spoke unto us that He's gonna deliver us. Okay. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. You know, a lot of our people are going to take the easy road out and take the M.O.T.B, you know, because they don't trust in His word, they don't trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, so therefore they're going to be destroyed. But the elect, this is the path that we are choosing, all right, to follow after Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, to love not our lives unto the death. St. Matthew 7:14, because straight is the gate, difficult. Okay, know this pathway to the kingdom. Okay, Edris described it as only one man can enter in at once. It says, but straight is the gate, and narrow is the way that leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. All right, and that's you dropping your priorities and what you want to do, and following after Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. You know, keeping the Lord's word, you know, fearing Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi and keeping His commandments. All right, because that's what's going to be important. That's what's going to matter. The Lord's servants is going to eat. The Lord's servants is going to drink in these times. The Lord's servants is going to rejoice. Now I know wicked nigga that you know, bitch out, you know, when it comes to the persecution and the heat gets turned up and the devil comes after us, all right, and fall back into the world and conform to this beast system and take his mark. The Lord is going to deliver His servants. Isaiah 65:13, therefore thus saith the Lord God, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, behold, my servants shall eat, and that's the elect. But ye shall be hungry, and that's the 2/3. All right, the faithless, all right, of the Israelites. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And why are we going to rejoice? Because our power is going to be present, and it's evident that the Lord is going to be with us and dealing. All right, and we invested in the right investment, and that's in our Lord. All right, our power, okay, our protection, okay. And 2/3 going to be ashamed because they trusted in Egypt. They trusted in the so-called white man and his system. All right. And they're surely about to be disappointed, and they're about to be destroyed. All right. In doing so. Okay. Isaiah 65:14, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. Yeah, so it's going to be two different extremes, man. Those who's under the covering and protection of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi and be given provision during the times of hell and chaos, famine, and destruction. All right, and those who's going to be caught up in all those judgments of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi for not trusting in the Lord. That's all it's going to be. You either of the elect or you're not. All right, the elect and the non-elect. That's what it's going to be. Okay? But don't be deceived. Okay? You know, go through the straight gate, suffer what this devil got, he got planned coming to, those that fear the Lord, the Israelites, okay? And he's coming down upon the whole world, but he's mainly coming down on the Lord's people, the Israelites, okay? And he namely want to get, those who truly trust and believe in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. He wants to try our faith, which ultimately the Lord is going to try our faith, and the Lord is going to prove us. And it's going to be proven who the Lord's elect is in these times. Okay? So don't be deceived, man. All right, so I was getting the point in 1 Thessalonians, because I was making that point that, you have martyrs for Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, and the Lord promised us a crown of life. But, in Revelation 20:4, it told us about the ones who were beheaded for not bound down to the devil's image and had taken his charagma. All right. It told us that they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. So you're going to live. All right. Death is not the end all be all, as this devil tries to, delete this body. All right. But we serve the Father of spirits, and we serve the power that controls life and death. All right, 1 Thessalonians 4:16, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, with the trump of the Most High, Yahawah. So Yahawashi descending in the chariot, all right, fathership, company with the heavenly host, the angels, and the dead in the Mashiach shall rise first. So what you think the ones who got beheaded and, stayed loyal, until Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is going to receive? Salvation, everlasting life. That's what we're reading. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds. All right, so if you still, you got delivered from the hands of this devil, from prison, from the persecution, you remain faithful, you didn't take the mark, you're alive and remain, you're going to be caught up in the clouds in the chariot of the Lord as well, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord, man. So there's reward on both ends. Those who are martyrs, witnesses unto Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, be put to death, all right? And those who are still alive and remain, we all receive salvation in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Our faith is going to pay off, all right? So now just getting a couple of these articles. I got a lot of articles. But it all ties into, scripture, of course. But fear spread about businesses implanting micro C-hips in workers. And fair use, once again, copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
Chipping your dog. Forget microchipping your dog. Across the country and around the world, some companies are now giving their employees the option to have microchips implanted directly into their skin, granting them the ability to open doors, log into accounts, and even buy snacks at the vending machine with a simple wave of the hand. But while some see this as the ultimate convenience, others see a privacy nightmare unfolding. I'm Susan Ferriccio, national correspondent for The Washington Times. Today we're diving into the growing tension between workplace efficiency and personal freedom, and why some states are racing to ban company-sponsored microchipping before the practice becomes the new normal.
Now to the American company, sparking a fierce debate across this country tonight.
This national debate began back in 2017 when a Wisconsin-based software company called 3 Square Market made headlines by offering employees the option of having a green-sized chip implanted between their thumb and forefinger. More than 80 people signed up. For those employees, the chip became an all-in-one key. It opened doors, unlocked computers, and made payments on proprietary self-checkout software. The company's then CEO, Todd Westby, claimed the vast majority of the staff loved the convenience, describing it as a huge factor in their daily work life. However, the technology quickly triggered a backlash. Critics raised immediate alarms over privacy concerns, while 3 Square Market insisted they had zero interest in tracking their employees and weren't even able to do so with the technology. The potential for abuse loomed large. This fear recently led Washington Governor Bob Ferguson to sign a bill that prohibits employers from requiring, coercing, or even asking employees to have a microchip implanted for any reason. State Representative Brianna Thomas, who sponsored the legislation, warned that while this sounds like science fiction, the technology is already here, creating an opportunity for bosses to monitor employees not just during work hours, but even when they go home.
It ain't science fiction. It's biblical prophecy. And the technology is surely here. And the stage is set for World War III and the collapse of the dollar. All right? Everything is in motion, for biblical prophecy to move forward. Just as Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi has it written to move forward. And through the Spirit and the power of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, the Lord gave us the Holy Spirit to understand these times and these prophecies, to keep us in the loop and in the know. And the Lord set up his teachers, the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone, and the men that have entered into their labors to give warning about these prophecies and to not take that mark of the beast. No matter if your job enforces it, and it's the only way you're going to be able to buy or sell or function in this devil's system, walk away from it. Walk away from it, say no, deny it. Okay, and trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi to pull you through these times. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And the spiritual demon Satan is working heavily on these physical counterparts of the wicked elite, these devils, these Edomites, man. And they have plans of their new world order to usher in this mark of the beast. Okay? Through this fourth industrial revolution, all right, with technology, AI, you see all the data centers going up. This is the infrastructure. Surveillance. This is the infrastructure of the beast system to roll out this mark, this technology. CBDC, central bank digital currencies, all right, cryptocurrencies, it all ushered you in to this beast system. Okay, for him to enforce this mark. Okay. And through the collapse of this dollar and this society, this devil's going to bring the order out of chaos by way of this mark. All right. And UBIs, universal basic income, all going to be on that device the size of a grain of rice, man. Don't be ignorant. All right. Stay on your watch. Stay occupied in prophecy. Stay within, keep watching the videos, man. The elder apostles, elder bishops, man. Okay. Elders of 07, brothers, okay, giving these warnings. All right, because Esau been putting it in his shows, his movies, as I'll play this clip.
City is stunned by the sudden rollout of Rook Unlimited's most fantastic device ever. The Smart Mark. Throw your other devices away, because the Smart Mark is more than just a phone. It's part of you. Use it as cash. Book your travel. And even shoot video. Distribution points are all over the city. And don't let the lines discourage you. The Rook Unlimited Smart Mark is worth the wait.
I never realized how wonderful technology could make me feel. The Smart Mark has brought order to my life.
And the best part? It's absolutely free. A gift of thanks to our city from Rook Unlimited.
23% of the population has been given the smart mark, number 1.
Time to test our system, number 6. The Flex Fighters are out there somewhere. Teaming up with Jonathan Roque. Let's put our new recruits to work, subtly.
We should find the Flex Fighters.
I ought to find the Flex Fighters.
We should find the Flex Fighters. We should find the Flex Fighters.
Growing up in this city, the streets of Old Town, I saw the worst mankind had to offer. Chaos, disorder. I vowed to make it all change. To make it all better. All these years working in secret. Rising up the ranks of the tech men. It was all leading to this day. Order has finally been established in Charter City. No child will have to fear for their safety again.
The people owe you the greatest of debts, number 1, for liberating them from the chaos of their lives.
You guys love new tech. You didn't want to get smart-marked?
No way. That's clearly some shady biz. Who wants to be...
You call yourself a man of science. World order is our destiny. Submit to a smart mark and join the glorious victory of order over chaos, or you will be eliminated.
Grandpa, Mr. Savick, where is everybody?
They all went to get those foolish new devices.
What? No, they can't. Grandpa, those things are dangerous.
It's a conspiracy.
Mind control.
I knew it!
3 hours is enough time for us to get to our families. Maybe we can stop them before they get marked.
They seem to be establishing checkpoints of some kind. This is how they keep order.
This is the nightmare I warned you about. People think smart marks are brand new Rook tech that will improve their lives. They don't know they're being tricked.
All smart marks so far. But your chip makes it possible to control everyone in Charter City, whether they're marked or not.
Yeah, you saw putting it right in your face. His technology, his mark, sending out them signals and frequencies. You know, as we know, the people got the juicy juice, which we believe is tied into, you know, them, once they get the M.O.T.B, it's going to solidify, you know, them fully being integrated into this beast system. You know, this is all ties together, and this devil, you know, had been, you know, foreshadowing or predictive programming, as they call it, you know, to in the people's faces, man. All right, and the prophets been warning about it, man. All right, so I went in chat GBT and I said, in today's technology, what is more than, it's supposed to say likely, but what is more than likely to be used as the mark of the beast for buying and selling? And it says that is a deep question, and people have been trying to connect the mark of the beast to modern technology for a long time. Let's break this down clearly and honestly. And what is the first thing that pop up? It says what the Bible actually says in Revelation 13, 16 to 17 as we read it. The mark or the charagma is placed on the right hand or the forehead, and you can't buy or sell without it. It is connected to allegiance and worship of the beast system. All right. It says, so at its core, it's not just a tool. It's about loyalty, control, and submission, not just technology. Yeah, you take that mark, you know, you pretty much is establishing Esau, Edom as your master. Going back to the law, it's a digital oil. Exodus 21:5. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, and that's a lot of Israelites' mindset. They love massa. The so-called white man, Esau, Edom, in the system that he set up. They trust in Egypt. It says, I love my master, my wife, and my children. I will not go out free. You know. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges, and he shall also bring him to the door and unto the doorpost. And his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. So this is going into a law, you know, of course. Our law with buying a Hebrew servant. All right, but just tying it to how this devil wants to make you a perpetual slave, you know, liken unto you taking that M.O.T.B is likened unto you taking a digital all and getting it implanted via a hypodermic needle, you know, piercing your skin, you know, boring through your skin in your hand, your right hand or your forehead, you know, and getting that technology inside you, man. And from there, it's a wrap. You now have made Esau Edom your God, your power, all right, your master. And from there, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi will deal with you, you know, harshly, all right, by way of his judgment, that he will rain fire upon you, pursuant to Revelation 14, the next chapter over from 13 and 16 and 17. Revelation 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image. So if you get down with the program, you with this devil, his new world order, and this technocracy that he's setting up, and receive his charagma, that RFID micro chip, in his forehead or in his hand. All right, so no matter what hand you get it in, or body part, it don't matter. You take it. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, his righteous anger. And what is that? Nuclear fire. The Lord consuming the land with fire. Nuclear fire. All right, and the Lord going to be adding to that fire by way of the chariots. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb. So it ain't going to be pretty for you if you sell out, man. That's the ultimate sellout. You take that M.O.T.B, man. All right, so just skimming down ChatGPT, the first bulletin of what technology is linked to the mark of the beast today with modern day technology. It says technologies people speculate about today. Number 1, micro C-hip implants, and ding, ding, ding. That is the correct answer. Small chips inserted under the skin. It says can already be used for unlocking doors, storing ID, digital ID, right? Making payments. This is the closest physical match to the hand idea, but it's still optional and limited today. And then it goes into biometric, digital ID systems, you know, cashless digital currencies. That's all going to be tied to the charagma, the actual mark. Okay? That's all the infrastructure and that's tied to the mark. All right? So yeah, we're not ignorant. We're not ignorant of it, man. And I had a couple more articles just dealing with the brain implants. You know, we already know Elon and his Neuralink company. All right, Elon Musk highlights Neuralink's potential for restoring vision and hearing. That's part of the signs and lying wonders, right? Neuralink has now implanted its devices in 21 paralysis patients globally as a part of his ongoing Prime study. In recent posts, Elon Musk linked a SpaceX milestone to Neuralink's goals, expressing confidence in restoring hearing via direct stimulation of the auditory cortex, similar to the blind sight's wireless implant beams images to the visual cortex. So this is part of his left hand miracles, man. Okay. 2 Thessalonians 2:8, and then shall that wicked be revealed, which is Esau, the so-called white man, the border of wickedness, pursuing to Malachi 1:4, the devil, that the wicked that controls the whole world, Job 9:24. Esau, Edom, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, the prophets, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, the second return of Yahawashi. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. These devils is working with left hand power, left hand energy, okay, left-handed technology given to him by Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, all right, via Satan, the spiritual demon Satan. It says even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. Okay, this is his left-hand miracles, man. Bring sight, all right, to the blind, all right, bring hearing to the deaf by way of his technology. Left hand miracles. Brain implants could improve human performance and reshape society. You know, they want to transhumanism, make you into a cyborg, enhance your capabilities, integrating you with the technology. Okay. World's first living implant could help paralyzed organs move again. You know, help you with your organs, whatever that may be, your internal dysfunctions, you know. China ushers in the cyborg era with the first commercial brain implant. So even China is on board. All these nations is going to get on board with this digital technocracy that the wicked elite is setting up across the whole world, man. China been on this type of time. Social credit scores and all that. Beast system, man. All right. World of Warcraft, which is a game I didn't personally play myself, but it says man plays the game using only his thoughts with Neuralink. After 100 days, gonna get all the gamers. You know, niggas were waiting on GTA 6. Oh, we can implant, we can get inside the game. You know, and I heard through the grapevine on GTA 6 that you can possibly make real money on the game. So yeah, niggas gonna take that Karagma if they can get inside the game and make money and do all type of wickedness, you know, such as deleting people at will, you know. So yeah, man, this is all just it's here, man. The technology is here. This devil is ready to usher it out. Even ChatGPT know what it is. You know, us hopeful members of the elect, we know what it is. Okay, and you know, for the ones who don't get it, man, hey, the Lord ain't dealing with them, man. We know not to take it. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi gonna destroy those who take it. All right, but the Lord gonna be with those who deny it and trust in Him. All right, so I want to get two precepts, and I'm gonna close it out. Didn't intend for it to be this long, but the Spirit. Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Wisdom and knowledge of what? Of these scriptures, these prophecies. All right, it's ultimately going to boil down to your faith. That's what's going to keep you stable in these times. Knowing that Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi said it was going to happen before it happened and made good on his promise that it would happen. All right, and knowing what's to come. It says, and that this devil loses. His devil don't win. He don't win, you know, even though he's going to come like a madman. He's going to bring persecution and demonization. This devil does not win. That's what's going to keep us stable. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi wins. The Lord God, new world order. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. And strength of salvation. So this truth is what's going to keep you strengthened, you know, into the coming salvation of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi to the elect. The fear of the Lord, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, is his treasure. And us, hopeful members of the elect who have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you know, we are rich. We're rich in faith. And that's who the Lord is truly dealing with. And that's who the Lord is going to, you know, grant, you know, to be the first fruits in the kingdom. And it's all through predestination. But, you know, just to back up that point that we are rich. Let me remember exactly where that's at. Rich in faith. Just the poor of this world, rich in faith. What is that? What is that? Is that James 1? Let me see. Rich in faith. You know, they gotta get that. James 2:5. Hearken, my beloved brethren, have not the Most High Yahawah chosen the poor of this world, which is the elect, rich in faith. So this is, the fear of the Lord is his treasure, and the fear is how we got the wisdom, how we got the truth, right? Through obedience. Okay? And it says, had not the Most High Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, heirs of the kingdom, which he had promised to them that love him. Woo, we join heirs, man. We about to get that kingdom soon, man. All right. So yeah, stay grounded, stay faithful to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. The Lord got us. The Lord ain't gonna forsake us. All right, he ain't never left, you know, the righteous forsaken. Oh, that King David, right? Let me see if I can grab that real quick. Might be two more precepts. Oh man. Psalms 37. Or that 24, 25. 25. Psalms 37 and 25. I have been young and now am old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Yeah, the Lord always been with his elect, man. The righteous, Israel. Okay, but furthermore, the elect. The Lord always been with us, and the Lord ain't forsook us in the days of old, and he ain't gonna forsake us now. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or any, let me just get it. That's a heavy precept too. Sirach 2 and 10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? And that's none. The answer is none. All our hopeful members, Slakia, all our forefathers, of the elect, they were all delivered. Okay, through trusting in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, through calling upon him and fearing him. All right, same as we doing today. Key components. It says, "For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in the time of affliction." So the Lord gonna save his elect. The Lord gonna save us. Lord will. We are of that hopeful elect number. And I was gonna get another precept, and I'm gonna end it on this. 2nd Esdras chapter 2, and let's see here. 2nd Esdras chapter 2. That's good too. I'm gonna get that. Kingdom is already prepared for you. Let's see. It's right there in my face. The way how this thing, it's right here. 2nd Esdras 2 and 13. Go and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you. So that's straight commandment to pray, which means to beg to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Continue to sigh and cry to your power, man. The Lord hears us. He hears the prayers of the elect. He hears the prayers of his saints. It says that they may be shortened. All right. Pray for a few days unto you that they may be shortened. And the Lord is speeding up the shorten the days for the elect's sake. Otherwise no flesh will be saved, pursuing to St. Matthew 24 and 22. So the Lord, that shows you the Lord hearing our prayers within that. We're praying for the Lord to shorten the days, to come back quickly. All right, but, we still don't, we know that we're on the Lord's time. It says the kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch, so stay on your watch, man. Okay? Continue to pay attention and be occupied in prophecy, because, let me read this. 2nd Esdras 2 and 26. As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number. And that's the elect, the number of the 144,000 to the great multitude, the 1/3. It says, be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. So what's that day of heaviness and trouble? That's Jacob's trouble. The times we're in now. All right, the escalation of shit hitting the fan in America, Babylon the Great, and around the world. The dollar collapsing and the transition over to this digital system, this technocracy, right, and the enforcement of this devil's new world order. This is Jacob's trouble, man. Okay, but the Lord said, when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. We're gonna be good. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. Because we got that protection, that hedge. My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. So even our children is going to be protected in these times. And the Lord, he said it, it's what it's going to be. All right, so the mark of the beast. All right, don't be deceived. Don't take it. All right, trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. With that, Lord will just edify to the elect. With that, to say Shalawam, Shabbat Shalawam to the elect.